we go. Your first storyteller this evening is Richard Munchkin. Your second storyteller this evening is Mary Jo Pollock. Apologies if my lighting is not great. Your third storyteller is Rana Levy. And your fourth storyteller, it's amazing, is Neshama Franklin. Richard, Mary Jo, Rana, and Neshama, that is the order. So Richard, you'll get us started in a couple of minutes. Ms. Vandy Perky, when you are ready, take the mic and start us off, please.
Truth be told, this is a bit longer than 99. It's Christmas season 2004. The teeny tiny therapist let us into her office with a group of note cards. The office had little pictures that said things like, breathe, and after the pain is the joy. My husband hates these fucking sessions. In fact, he told me, do you think these things really help? The night before. And I said, well, it's free. It's part of the program. The tiny therapist said, I am going to show you a note card, and you write how much this is important to you on a scale of 1 to 10. I find this technique can bring up shared interests and bring you closer. What is our first word? How about fun? I could see Jim shift. How important is fun to you two? I said a 7 and Jim said a 7. The therapist became ecstatic. Fun! You two can have fun. She pulled out the next card. Buying property. I said a 9. Jim said a 3. She made a frown. What does this mean? Do we see some problems? How did we get like this? In this bronze office on a winter day in the Christmas season? I'm in a treatment center, for Christ's sakes, and I'm pumped full of meds. Where did our marriage go that we had to talk about shit on note cards? Speaking of fun, where had fun gone? Where had affection gone? Dare I say, where had love gone? I wanted to kick the teeny therapist and rip up the note cards. Just then, Dr. Jacobson popped in. That's what he does. He pops in. He says he is preparing a list of outside doctors for me to call, and then he says he has a novel idea. He says you should consider going to Johns Hopkins or the Mayo Clinic or Menninger's and have them take you off all your meds and start over. Just start over. He shrugs his shoulders. There's silence. The teeny tiny therapist grips the note cards and stares at the doctor. Jim stares at the doctor. I say, I'd be willing to do that. The session is over. Boom.
Boom. Thank you, Vandy. Really appreciate you starting us off. I don't care if it was 90. You get a little grace. It's all good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That now, again, you're not voting on Vandy. You just heard that story and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of what we're going to be hearing this evening. Our first storyteller is in Las Vegas. His name is Richard Munchkin. We are officially starting the 99-second story Grand Slam season 5. Richard Munchkin, break a leg.
I'm 23 years old. I've moved to Las Vegas and I am living the dream and partying hard. I come out of a bar, it's 6 a.m. and I am really wasted and I know I should not be driving. But I figure I will just make it to my friend Mike. He's my best friend and he lives right on this street. So I'm going to try to be safe. I'm just going to pull out and I'm going to get behind the first car I see. And I'm not going to try to change any lanes. I'll just get to Mike's house and I'll knock on his door and I'll stay there. It's 6 a.m., but he'll understand. So I pull out and I get behind a car and he's at a stop sign and I'm waiting. And because I'm wasted, I'm impatient. But I'm waiting and I look in my mirror. Should I pass him? No, I'm not going to try to do anything fancy. I'm just going to stay behind this guy till I get to Mike's house. And I'm waiting and waiting. And finally, I'm like, what the hell, man? And I start honking the horn and I'm yelling like, hey, what are you waiting for? And then I realize I'm behind a parked car. Boom.
Thank you, Richard. All right, that was Richard Munchkin leading us off, starting us off. Richard lives in Las Vegas. First story of the Grand Slam number 5. I see a lot of familiar faces and some new ones. So again, I want to thank you for being here very, very much. Queen Mary's here. Guest Judge Dotty O'Donnell's here. Our second storyteller, live from Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to spotlight her, Mary Jo Pollock.
I'm a senior in high school when my parents are meeting the boy I've been dating for about a year for the first time. I was forbidden to date him because he wasn't Jewish. I was sneaking around for a while, but I got caught. And my parents said, you cannot date him anymore. We forbid it. I said, if you forbid it, I will continue to lie and sneak around. They saw the logic in that and invited him over for dinner to get to know him better. But that night was a little wild and the topic was farting and I was mortified and he's Scandinavian and turned beet red and my younger brothers are giggling away. But my parents did like him. After I went to college and we were in separate colleges, we just sort of drifted apart, nothing dramatic. And I just didn't see him. I moved to California from Minnesota. But about 10 years ago, I noticed that he posted a comment on one of our mutual friends' pages on Facebook. I sent him a message. I haven't thought about him in years. He was glad to hear from me, and we were getting caught up. 40 years later, he lived in San Diego, I'm in LA, but he spent the whole time telling me about his life in San Diego for 25 years with his husband.
Thank you, Mary Jo. All right, all right. So here we go. We got Richard Munchkin in Vegas, Mary Jo in Arizona. So you'll hear these stories, and then again, you're going to vote. After the fourth one, you'll vote of your favorite of those 4. So whatever your system is for doing that, want to jot something down, have a little system, it's up to you. You're just going to pick your favorite. You don't have to put a number in, just your favorite. Our next storyteller joins us live from Brooklyn, New York. Her name is Rana Levy. Rana, I'm going to spotlight you. Break a leg.
I'm lighting a yurtside candle for my mother, as I've been doing for the past 13 years. And for 24 hours, her flame will flicker. My mother had multiple sclerosis since I was a toddler. I mean, once she had to wear an eye patch for her blurry vision, and sometimes she couldn't walk or she couldn't button her shirt, and she had cortisone for her stiffness. One time when I was about 9, we were driving home from the mall and I was in the backseat and I took my hat off and I was twirling it in my finger and it just flew out the window on the highway. And I didn't want to go home. I mean, because I knew that my mother would be screaming and yelling and swearing. So I just hid under my bed until my dad came home. My mother had her tranquilizers in the kitchen cabinet. Sometimes my mother would just sit at the kitchen table and cry and say that she was useless and that she was a burden and that she'd be better off dead. And she had tryptophan for her depression. But sometimes my mother was perfectly fine. I mean, she was so confusing. She wasn't confusing, she was sick. But I was a kid and I needed her to be like my friends' mothers and to bake brownies with me, to take me shopping or polish my nails. 13 years ago, my dad came home from work. The garage door was closed, but the car was running and my mother was in the front seat. I didn't understand her pain. Another year, another candle, and for the next 24 hours, my mother's flame will flicker. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana Levy. All right, y'all. So, wow, what a start, Ms. Mary Daba, Queen Mary. What a start, y'all. You can communicate with people in the chat. It should be on the bottom. If you're on a phone, it might look a little different. Little chat function if you want to reach out, and you should be able to either chat, say something to everybody, or a particular storyteller if you want to send them a message directly. All right. Really appreciate everyone being here. Our fourth of four storytellers for round one, section one, is back on the West Coast. She is also a lovely human being, and her name is Neshama Franklin. Let me spotlight you. Break a leg, young lady.
Coffee, you could say, was the center of my life. It was the sacrament. My husband brought me this perfect cup with steamed milk every morning. And that was very hard won because we had knocked ourselves out with the Chemex and the water bath and the cold press to get it wonderful. And it was. I was so dedicated that on my first backpacking trip, I had 2 full thermoses of whole milk because that's the way it tasted best. And you should have seen me when I traveled somewhere and hadn't had my coffee yet. I was a veritable bear. Stay away until I drink it. And then came the norovirus. And I was sitting in the bathroom spewing from every orifice. And on top of it, I had the indignity of a caffeine ice pick withdrawal headache. And at that very moment, I said, no more coffee. Now, that doesn't mean I'm caffeine-free. Good Earth tea, black, keeps me going. And yes, I miss the smell, and I miss the sacrament, but it's so good to be free of one more addiction.
Thank you, Ms. Neshama Franklin, somewhere in the West Coast, Northern California, I think. As always, after each of the 4 storytellers go, we summarize those that did not go over. We did have one storyteller who went too far over. Unfortunately, Mary Jo is not on the poll. She went a little too far over. Sorry, Mary Jo, I love you. So we have 3 storytellers, and Queen Mary will summarize Richard, Rana, and Neshama, please.
This makes me so sad, but
I know.
yes. So Richard, after coming out of the bar at 6 a.m., tried to drive to a friend's house, but found out he was behind a parked car. Ronna lights a candle for her mom, who was not like the other moms, but because she was dealing with something very serious. And Neshama gave up coffee after the norovirus, but give her a good cup of tea and she's good.
Got it. All right. So in a moment, I'm going to launch this poll. Everybody other than me, Queen Mary, and Dotty gets to vote, including the storytellers. So I'm going to launch that right now, crossing fingers. This is always the moment, Mary, where I'm holding my breath that the tech doesn't fail me. But we do have a plan B should that happen.
We do.
We do. We got plan Bs.
We're prepared.
We have a plan B. Again, round 1, section 1, you were choosing between Richard, Rana, and Neshama. Here we go. Everybody vote. We got 56 people that can vote, potentially. All right. This is competitive, as they often are.
Good that people are. I see y'all voting quickly. Thank you so much.
Great first round. Yeah, I like, and hey, thanks, Corey. Yes, show some love to the tellers. They've worked hard on these stories. You know, Mary,
Yes.
one might think, oh, it's shorter, it's easier. I don't think that's true.
I don't think so either.
I kind of think the 99s are maybe harder.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly just as hard. We're going to end this poll. We do have a winner for round 1, section 1. And of course, we're not going to tell you now. We are going to wait and milk it as long as we can until we announce who the winner of that section is. But huge thanks to our first 4 storytellers for starting us off.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. All right. And if you're at home, whatever system you have to vote, it's your system. It's all good. But again, I just want to remind everybody, you're voting for your favorite story, and you're presumably people who aren't reading. And I don't think people are typically reading. None of them are reading.
Nope. No.
You want to be a super stickler, but I kind of want people to get rewarded if they play by the rules. But these are veterans here, these tellers. They're veterans.
They haven't been here just once. No.
Correct.
No, they've been
Correct.
here. They've been here, and they're fighting for the top slot.
Mary or Dotty, what we can do, man, if the chat gets super busy, we can't do this, but I'd love for somebody to read some of these lovely comments out at some point. We do want to roll through the first round, but such kind words.
Oh yeah, everybody's being so lovey.
Very nice, very nice. All right, so this hat, which I should remind you, is not from Ecuador.
No. No,
And it's not from Chile.
not Chile. Is it from Peru?
It is actually from Peru, Mary, yes. How
Yeah.
did you know that? Interesting.
Again, not my first rodeo here, Sean.
Correct. 12 names are in my hand here. They all wait patiently, sweating bullets,
Mhm.
knowing this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. Have we launched careers here? No.
No.
Have we changed lives? Probably not.
Have we had fun though?
Yes, all right, I'm going to pick the top 4 off the top. I just mixed them up. And then we'll have 4 more storytellers and 8 names go back in the hat. First one, round 1, section 2 is Teo. Number 2 is Andrew. Number 3 is Carolyn. And number 4 is Harold. And maybe a little bit unlike a regular slam, it's what's really interesting. Everybody here is like really good.
Really, really good.
It's really, really competitive. So I wish you all to break your freaking legs really hard. Let me find Mr. Teo and give him the mic. There he is. Unmute, young man. I'm going to spotlight you and break a leg.
I'm running. Well, hobbling quickly. I'm carrying a big bucket of water and I'm only 8, so I'm doing my best. But I'm excited and I'm running towards, not away. See, every day after school, I have this little 5-minute walk and I walk along this creek, very narrow, very shallow. And even though the only interesting thing it's given me in the last couple of years is some blue algae instead of green, I still let my imagination run wild with the creatures that might make their home there. But today, I don't have to imagine because I found a crawfish. So I'm carrying this big bucket of water and I'm running, hobbling quickly towards the crawfish. And I get to the spot where I last saw it, or I thought I did, and it's gone. And I'm getting a little upset, pacing, taking step after step, eyes glued to the ground, walking, and I feel it. Like an egg cracking beneath my feet, I feel what I was looking for. I don't look down, I start sobbing. And as I'm sulking home, my neighbor, who was always like this grandma I never had, she catches me. And she, through my incoherent sobbing, figures out what happened. And she tells me to retrieve the crawfish. I protest, not wanting to look at the carnage my foot just left behind, but she insists and I relent. When I come back, she's in her garden. Has a trowel. I stand beside her. She's dug a hole. She gets on one knee and she cups my hands and she says, "This crawfish still has life to give, Tayo. We just need to plant the seed." Boom.
Thank you, Teo. Teo's also up in Massachusetts. It will come as no surprise that a lot of the tellers seem to be from certain areas. And I don't necessarily know why that is. Mary, maybe something is actually in the water.
True.
I have been told that there might be certain things in water in places like Boston and Chicago and maybe New York. What do I know?
I don't know. Maybe alcohol is the common thread. Who knows?
I know one place it's not, North Carolina. It's not here.
No.
It's just me, random little bald guy in North Carolina. That's it. It's just me.
You're leading the charge. Thank God, Sean.
Hey, I'm leading the charge.
Without sleeves. No sleeves.
And I don't want to talk about myself, but I do want to say clearly I've gotten dressed up for the occasion. Don't need you to don't say anything in the chat. It's fine. I just want you to know I take this shit very seriously. I want to thank Queen Mary for being here again and Dotty. And for now we have 60 people. That makes me feel good.
Warms our hearts.
I hope that you're enjoying this, and whether it's after we're done or some point after that, I would love feedback, any kind of feedback. We always want to make these better or tighter or whatever we can do to improve. But I think we're doing a pretty good job.
What if someone says they want sleeves on you?
Fuck them. All right, next up. Yeah, fuck that. Next up, also in Massachusetts. Thanks for asking that though, Mary. Andrew Shelffo, he goes by Shelf. I'm going to spotlight him. Take it away, Mr. Shelffo.
They call my name, but because it isn't my name, I don't hear them and I don't react. But then my synapses fire correctly, and I have to go up to the person at the desk in this big, loud, bureaucratic room and tell them that, yes, I am here, and I'm sorry I didn't hear my name being called, and no, I wasn't out of the room, and yes, I know I'm not supposed to leave the room until my name is called, but I didn't leave, I'm right here. Yes, I have my form, and as I hand my form over to the woman behind the desk, I realize that I put down my medical history, even though I'm not supposed to be me right now, but I can't ask for another form because I don't realize this until I'm actually handing it to the woman. So I don't say anything and I just go back to my chair, determined to listen for the right name. They call the name and I hear it and I go into the door just off the main room and there's a hallway and I go down to the third door on the right, which is where the bathroom is. And I do what I came here to do, pee in a cup. I bring the cup where the woman who opened the door told me to bring it and I'm ready to leave, but then they usher me into another room, which looks like a doctor's examination room. And oh shit, I have to take a physical. She takes my blood pressure. She takes my temperature. She asks me how I'm feeling and I say, fine. She asks me if I've taken any illegal drugs and I say, of course not, because I think that sounds better than just saying no. But she doesn't really pay attention. She just sighs and tells me to sign here. I haven't taken any illegal drugs, which is precisely why I'm doing this. My friend can't be a clerk for the judge if he can't pass the drug test, and he smokes a lot of pot, so he asked me to take the piss test, and I said sure, and he said great, and he got the job, and I found out that I have high blood pressure. Boom.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, so we've already had 6 storytellers, several different time zones. Mary, Dotty, right? We got some that are leaning a little bit more comedic or humorous. We got some a little more dramatic and serious and in between. And check the chat. It's busy, which I appreciate. People are communicating there. There were a couple of people who responded to my North Carolina comment and they said, hey, I'm in North Carolina, so watch your mouth with the water. And I'm like, yeah, you're fair. But I take it back. My North Carolina people, my Carolinians.
Big friends there.
Forgive me. And when I have a live event here, show your asses up there. And if you don't, then I'm not going to take it back. We're going to have some events here soon once this Omicron stuff hopefully passes and people have a little more confidence and comfort in meeting. But for now, we're on Zoom, which is wonderful.
It works.
It is working. These are fun. And again, I want to thank, I keep saying it over and over again, how grateful I am, but I am. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know, 2 years ago, just randomly, just real thought, 2 years ago, I don't think I knew one human being on this Zoom call. I don't think, maybe one. Wow, done. Next up, just saying, I don't know what time zone she's in. She is actually in a different country. Her name is Carolyn. Carolyn, I'm going to spotlight you. Take your time and break a leg.
I walk into the kitchen. I've been on my morning walk. My husband is making coffee. He looks over at me and he says, "You seem different." It's 1996. We've been married for 25 years. And I think that on my morning walk, I have decided to leave the marriage. I have been making pro-con lists. The pros all have to do with what a good man my husband is, and there's only one con. I can't seem to love him. So always I decide it's my fault and to try harder. I've been doing that for 10 years. This morning I changed my route. I have to change my route and avoid 23rd Avenue, the busy street, because for the past 2 weeks, I've been thinking how easy it would be to step in front of a truck. Now I'm scared. Something has to shift, and I hear a different voice. This voice says, "Listen, you're going to get out of this marriage. The polite way would be to wait until one of you gets sick and dies. And yeah, the not so polite way would be to get real and find your courage and leave." Now I'm in the kitchen. I've just heard my husband say, that I seem different. I am heartbroken. But I also hear myself say, yeah, I think I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Lovely kitchen in Mexico. I don't think that's showing any favoritism. I never want to show favoritism. I just said she's in Mexico. That
You
shouldn't
like
swing.
my kitchen. All you did was say you like my kitchen.
I like the kitchen. I liked Andrew's. I like Andrew's painting. I like Teo's. I like Teo. I like everybody. I like where they are. I like what they do. Beautiful stories thus far. No surprises. It's going to be really challenging. This is just challenging. It's competitive. If you're here, however you found us, and you want to do this, I encourage you we'll have another slam and I will invite you and you can tell a story or two and it's fun. And I promise you, you will live. I mean, there's a slight chance that you won't, but it has nothing to do with the story.
No, we don't kill people.
We don't kill people. We want people to tell their stories and we want to encourage people to just play with the form. Our final storyteller of round 1, section 2 is in Massachusetts. Real shocker. His name is Harold. I'm going to spotlight him. Harold, take it away.
The results of the COVID test that I just took are sitting on the table in front of me, staring at me. I don't know what they say. I'm really afraid to actually take a look at them. I had to take the test because I was experiencing some symptoms, a throat problem, fever, that kind of stuff. But the truth is, I don't really want to know what it says, but I absolutely got to find out what it says. What if I actually have COVID? How sick will I be? Am I going to die? Is my will up to date? I don't really want to know, but I know that I need to, because if I actually am positive, then I've got to call my friends that I had dinner with just a few days ago and tell them that they need to get tested too. I don't want to know. I'm not a hypochondriac, but I really don't want to know. But they're in front of me. I gotta look at them. Maybe not this time. I'm one of those people who wears my mask everywhere. I stay out of places with lots of people, but now I'm the one that has to look at this thing, and I don't want to look at it. I don't want to know, but I need to know. All right. Look, no look, look. Okay, go ahead. Just count down. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to look. Negative. How much more of this can I take? Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Harold Cox. 4 storytellers, Mary and Dotty. We're getting better and better. The stories were always good back 2020, 2021. They're just getting better and better. That's a subjective statement. Sure it is, but I just appreciate people doing what they do. I have good news. Nobody's over.
Yay!
Nobody's over time. But now, some of the storytellers were crossing their fingers, right? I mean, let's be honest. They're like, man, I hope there's a vote of 1 in this one. That's fair. I would be thinking that way. If you want to win, I get that. All 4 storytellers were at or below 99 seconds, which means Mary will now summarize. I will create and then soon after launch the poll. Mary.
So Teo learned a lesson from a crawfish that he had a funeral for. When you plant a seed, it will grow. Andrew is such a good friend for taking a drug test for his friend who couldn't have passed it and got his clerk's job. Carolyn decided to take the not polite way and leave her marriage. And Harold, I think we're all thinking this, how much more can we take of COVID?
All right, I am doing this. So so you just heard the stories, you heard Mary's summary. So give that a thought, a few moments. I'll launch this poll in a moment. I just want to kind of get it right. It's a challenge. Mary, you're so good at this though.
Thank you.
You're very, very good at summarizing. And if anybody, people probably hear that and they're thinking, I could do that. Don't want to say no, but it's not as easy as she makes it look.
No.
It's very.
No one's knocking me out of my job. I just want to say that
that you're safe. Where your job is safe.
Good.
Again, Teo, Andrew, Carolyn, and Harold, another very, very competitive section. Let's launch this poll.
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Oh, close, close, close.
Really close. Everybody's got to vote. We have 58 more people could vote. We'll keep it open a little longer. Maybe someone's in the bathroom because it is really, really close.
Close.
Now, remember, there will be 2 people who don't win a section that will go through. Judge's choice. Total of 6 in round 2. When we've heard half of our first round storytellers, we have 2 more people and it can make a difference.
Definitely.
I'm going to keep it open a little longer because it is the grand salami. Hey, if you're in the bathroom, finish up. Come back. Mary and Dotty, you see this, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Indeed. Yes. I've written down the results.
And I should also add, this probably goes without saying, that if you're coming to this event late and you don't hear all the stories from a section, I'd ask that you refrain from voting. You want to hear all of them if you're going to vote. I'm going to give this another 10 seconds and then we do have to move on. There are 2 people who could vote and it actually would make.
Oh.
And let's end this poll right now. And we officially have a tie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a new poll with the 2 people who tied for first place. Now, this is going to take me a moment. So Mary.
Yeah. Well, like Sean said before, y'all, there's a lot that goes on Sunday nights. We have the mental health happy hour, which is an
I love you.
to join us. So that starts at 7. We also have Flash, which is really a lot of fun and stretches your skills. And of course, we have the 99-second story slam, which we love that you come to and should be with us here every time you can. Tell stories, be in the audience. I love how everybody's so positive, even though there's competition, is phenomenal. So it's a very special event, y'all, and you've made that way. So thank you.
Oh my God, how good are you at this? Where did you come from? I knew you were good. I knew you were the queen, but man.
You know?
Run off. I'm going to launch this. There are 2 people. And by the way, for what it's worth, it was ridiculously close, all 4. But there are only 2 names that actually were tied for first. If it's a tie now, you both go through. I mean, how many tiebreakers can we have?
Yeah.
Incredibly close, not surprisingly.
Again. Okay.
We have 10 more people that can vote. Wow.
Mhm.
All right. Let's give it another 10 seconds and then I'll pull 4 more names. This is fun.
Super fun.
Maria, I can't redo the original poll. I can do. Okay, I got you. Yep. All right, we can end this poll. We do have a winner. End it.
End it, my
Awesome.
friend.
Awesome. All right, so we have 2 people who will be going to the second round. They don't know yet who they are.
Nope.
I guess given how section 2 worked out, they might, not exactly, right? 50%, not 25%. You know, I'm not a math person or a numbers person.
I know.
So I'll just not do math stuff.
Good.
80 seconds is hard for me to figure out sometimes. I'm such a simple man. All right, 4 more names. 4 more names. We're halfway through. Let's keep it running. It is a long-ish event. I hope it doesn't feel long. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more names go back in the hat. Our first storyteller for section 3 is going to be James. So get ready, James. Then Briane. Then Tori. And then Gaurav. Again, James, Briane, Tori, Gaurav. I hope I pronounced names correctly. Apologies if I have not. Mr. James Peterson, not Patterson. Let me find you, you handsome bald man.
Oh.
Can we find James?
Do you need help? James, can you say something? Because you'll
Yeah.
pop.
Hello, I should be
You're good.
good. I'm unmuted. I'm everything. Okay.
You're awesome. Take your time.
I study the graffiti next to the front door. It's a circle with an X. One quadrant identifies the unit that made the original search, the date of the search, the number of bodies found, the number of pets. 6 months earlier, I had watched news coverage of Hurricane Katrina, the devastation in New Orleans, the floods, the people stuck on rooftops. And the announcer had said the town of Chalmette was 100% destroyed. I had grown up in Chalmette. I could have been one of those people. I volunteer for a Habitat for Humanity projects, not to build houses, but to gut houses, to go into the houses, take everything out, strip it down to the studs so that someone can come along and spray a chemical to control the mold. My instructions are simple. You haul everything out and leave 4 piles on the curb: debris, chemicals, electronics. It's the 4th pile that breaks my heart. We're asked if we find something we think the family might value, no matter what the condition, put it in the 4th pile. I find an egg. One of those child craft projects where you blow out the yolk and paint it and decorate. I find an egg intact, signed by the child. I clear a space on the mantle and place the egg there, hoping that the family, if and when they return, will see that first and see what I saw, a miracle, hope.
Thank you, James. James snaps. That's his sort of signature move. Some people say boom. You don't have to do that, but we know when the story's over. Give you the benefit of the doubt. Next up, we are going north of the border to our friends, our Maple Leaf friends in the great country of Canada. I don't know if they're actually nicer up there, but I think this guy is. Brian, let me spotlight you. Break a leg.
I'm 16 years old. I'm going into my senior year at high school. I've got a job, a summer job at the Royal Canadian Exhibition, selling souvenir hats, your name on free. And I'm working next to the most attractive, funniest, brightest young woman I've ever seen in my life. Her name is Nancy. And over the 2 weeks, I finally get the courage up to talk to her and we joke. And during the fall, I invite her out a few times and we go on a date. And then over the Christmas holidays, I popped the question. I invited her to my senior prom and she says yes. I know it's hard to believe, but I was not part of the in crowd at Forest Hill Collegiate. So walking into the prom with the most beautiful girl in the room on my arm was the greatest day in my high school career. We had our photo taken, we danced the night away, and after that, we went out for a poo-poo platter. It was fabulous. In the fall, she goes off to university. We lose track of each other. It's 27 years later. I'm at a fundraiser here in Toronto for Second City. She's flown in from Los Angeles with her husband. He's off schmoozing at another table. So I go over to her and say hello. And she says, have you ever told my husband we went to the prom together? I'd worked with Martin Short a number of times over the year, but this never came up in conversation. So he drags me over and goes, honey, Brian took me to his senior prom. And he looks at me and screams, you bastard. She goes back to LA. 10 years passed. I find out she dies from cancer. I worked with Marty in 2017 at that very first writing session. I bring the beautiful black and white photo of Nancy and I together. I give it to him. He looks at it, smiles, hands it back. I said, no, Marty, keep it. And you can cut me out of the picture if you want to. And I hope he has. Boom.
Thank you, Brian, in Canada. Good job, everybody. I think Brian's in Toronto area. James, yeah, James is in the Chicago area. We say Chicagoland. I don't think they say Toronto land. They do say Chicagoland. Isn't that funny? Or am I not funny and I don't have a good sense of humor? Which one?
No, you do. No. You have a good sense of humor.
Dude,
But Toronto land just feels more like,
yeah.
Just a
They don't
different.
say Boston land, they say like Greater Boston.
Right. Right.
And they
So
don't say like New York City land, they just say New York fucking city. You see the difference? Do you see?
definitely a difference. Yes, I heard that come right out of your mouth there, Sean. You haven't lost it, thank goodness.
Is not, this is a PG-13 event.
Is it? Oh.
Could have probably said that at the top. Apologies if you have kids listening, but you know what? They've heard the F-bomb once or twice.
Of course.
Up, I actually think she's not where she resides. It's how weird we have a second storyteller who's telling a story from Mexico. How interesting. Let us welcome and let me spotlight for everybody. Tori Shine. Tori Shine, take your time, have some fun.
Peanut butter, she tells me. Bring peanut butter. I'm 18 years old. I'm traveling out of the country by myself for the very first time. I have complicated food allergies. Sometimes it's hard for me to find food that I can eat, especially in another country where I'm not used to the cuisine. My sister says, bring peanut butter. She tells me no matter where you are, you can almost always find bread. Bread and peanut butter, it'll get you pretty far. And she's totally right. I realize all I need is a passport and a jar of peanut butter, and I can travel the world. I fear nothing. Until one day, I'm going through airport security, and a TSA agent grabs my checked bag, and he pulls out a jar of peanut butter. He says, ma'am, I'm sorry, but you can't bring this peanut butter on the airplane. You're not allowed to have liquids bigger than 3 ounces anymore. Liquid? That's not a liquid. This is a jar of peanut butter. I'm trying to argue with the TSA, but I am losing this fight. Clearly, they don't realize that this is my international safety blanket. This is like my binky. And I make a bold move. I say, you're not taking my peanut butter. And the TSA agent says, ma'am, I never said I was going to take your peanut butter. What I said is you're not bringing that peanut butter on this airplane. I choose to fly. I fear nothing. Boom.
Thank you, Tori. All right, Mary, we had 3 storytellers in section 3 of round 1. Tori's actually, I think she lives in Pittsburgh. I don't think that's too much. Is that personal information I shouldn't be giving away about people where they live? Maybe that's like TMI, man.
No, it's fine.
I'm not giving anybody the address.
Right. No.
I'm not giving you the address of where she lives. I'm just saying she lives in Pittsburgh land. Nope. You see? Nope. Doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
You can't just throw land around like willy-nilly.
Apparently not. I thought you could, but Chicagoland seems to be just the right words and letter, just the perfect. Let's go to Scandinavia, shall we?
We shall. Let's
go up to Scandinavia.
Does everyone have peanut butter? Everybody have peanut butter?
Right. Gaurav is up in the Scandinavian area. We'll learn more about why he's there after the show. Gaurav, unmute yourself and break a leg, sir.
In Delhi, in India, my hometown, I'm traveling in our subway we call Delhi Metro on a cold Saturday evening when I see this playful toddler smiling at me from far. I'm standing next to the door reading a book, and this toddler is in the lap of his sleeping mother on the other side of the train. A few minutes later, the mother shouts, "The baby's not responding. The baby is actually no longer breathing. He's turning pale with every passing second, and if nobody comes for help, this baby may actually die in a few minutes." The train is flooded with people. It's absolute chaos with no idea what to do. I immediately jump towards him, grab him from his jaw, turn it around, take a deep breath, and strike firm blows with the heel of my hand on his chest. I continue doing this for what seemed like lifetime at that point, with no success. We are losing him. Just as I begin to give up, ting! A coin pops out of his mouth, and he cries like a newborn with a new life. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. All right. So Gaurav is in like Norway or something, Mary.
Norway, I believe. Yes.
Which is the capital is Oslo. If anyone wants to do a little game of world capitals after the show, I'm down for that because I will crush.
Wow.
Like for example, the capital of I don't know, Peru. We can just talk about that later.
Yeah. You must have a story behind that, Sean.
I don't know. I might have bought something there. We did have one storyteller, unfortunately, that went over, too far over. We do have a little cushion, a very little one. We don't tell the tellers, but James went over too much. We got to honor that. Because if you add a few extra seconds to a 99, it's really different, unlike a 5-minute story. So what I'm going to ask, and I hate to do it. I didn't like to do it with Mary, Jo, and James. Love them both. So we have 3 tellers we're going to vote on right now. You're going to summarize, if you would, Mary, Briane, Torian, and Gaurav.
Yes, again, painful.
I know.
So Briane got to take Martin Short's wife to the prom, and after she passed, was able to give him a wonderful memento of it. Tori has traveled all over the world with her peanut butter until a TSA agent made her face her fear of letting it go and choosing to fly. And Gaurav found that he was able to help a newborn or a youngin get a new life by helping him pop a coin out of his mouth.
All right, I am doing my best with this. You're much better at summarizing than I am summarizing the summary. So help me out, Briane. What do we want to say? Give me 2-3 words, Mary. You're to put you on the spot here a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. Prom and Martin Short, because it's Martin Short.
Prom and Martin Short. Yep. Sure. Got it.
Yep. Tori peanut butter,
okay.
TSA agent, right? Or travel, peanut butter and travel.
Yeah, great.
And then Gaurav, I would say coin and toddler on train, or train toddler, whatever.
This is why you're good. This is why you are you and I'm not you. It's not the only reason. That's for sure.
I don't know if you can carry off the hair and the nails, Sean. I mean,
I think you're probably right. Let us launch this poll. And then after this, we have 4 more storytellers in round 1. We'll take a very little break. We will announce the 6 storytellers who are then going through to round 2. Here we go. Briane, Tori, Gaurav, launching poll. We have 58 people who can vote. I hope you all do.
It seemed like someone was running away with it, and then it started to get caught up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dotty, isn't it fun to see the polls? We have another one that might have a runoff. We're going to let this go a little bit. It is the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
First place is in first place by 1 vote, people. I know it's hard. I know it. I know that, and Tori will appreciate this, I think, that ranked choice voting might be better, but we're limited by Zoom. We try to make it as fair as we can. You only have that 1 vote.
So someone didn't get the poll on the screen, Andrew. So Andrew Lauren. So he put his vote in the chat.
All right.
Just take a peek over there.
Please let me know if that applied to anybody else. We're going to let it go for another. We have 6 people who can vote, and I don't want to milk this or drag it out too much, but please vote because it's going to make a difference.
It's going to make a difference, guys. So. And we wait.
We wait. This might be a good time to get a snack. If somebody's on the toilet. I mean, at some point we have to just say, stop the poll, right? Just to be fair. Let's give it another 5 seconds. We might get 1 vote. And just to be clear, Mary, you're saying that 1 person did not get the poll and they voted for, I see that.
Yep.
All right.
So.
Yeah, 5 seconds more. And we are going to have another runoff.
Yes, we are. What a night.
We're going to have another runoff. So good luck, Mary, with this. Good luck now, Mary. What are you gonna do now, Mary?
I know. My God.
How are we gonna kill a minute?
Oh, okay. So we're gonna kill it. That's right. So also Sean has this wonderful group called Grit. And if you haven't been in it, you should join the group. It's a Facebook group. Also, there is a fabulous podcast that you can listen to. It has many amazing storytellers, amazing stories. I myself have been on the earlier end of being on Grit, and it was a fabulous time. We talked about my niece. So if you have a really great story that you would think would be appropriate for it, reach out to Sean, and I'm sure many people here do. But take a listen. You can get it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever place. Just look for Grit.
How is that not your job?
It
How is
should
it not your job?
It should be.
Just by the way, same with the other section where it was super close. All the four were really close. There were 3 for this one. And there was only a couple vote difference for all of them, but the first 2 I'm going to launch now. That is what the runoff is for. Should there be a tie, they'll both go through.
All right. Thanks for the love in the chat, guys. I love you.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So close. Not surprising a runoff would be close. But.
No, but
we have 10 people that can vote, and it is a margin of 2 right now. Please vote.
Please vote.
I think we have a winner.
I think so too.
We're going to close it in 5 more seconds, just in case. Go to 45. That's a nice roundish number.
It is a round number.
45-second land. All right, let's end this. All right. So for the storytellers, yeah. All right, here we go. When you have a runoff, it's the only situation in which there are storytellers who know that they're not going through. So for those of you who know that, you know I love you, love your stories, stick around. Final 4 storytellers of round 1. I want to thank everybody for being here. Of course, Mary, Dotty, our tellers, and our audience. Here we go.
Well, Sean, before that, I just want to mention that Dotty and I have a vote. So the people who know they haven't gone through,
that
they
is
get
true.
saved.
That is absolutely true. I stand corrected. 100% true. So of the 12 tellers who don't go through by voting, 2 of them will get put through by Dotty and Queen Mary. You want a tough choice? Try being Dotty or Mary and having to choose, man. You might want to put your Venmo account in the chat right now, Mary and Dotty. Good opportunity to make some serious money. Here we go. Our first storyteller in the final section is Jamie, then Tina, and then Jeff, and then Barbara. Here we go. Let's find Jamie. There he is, spotlighting it. Sir, take it away.
So one day after work, I have a couple of drinks and I'm headed home where my boyfriend is making dinner. Now, back in those days, a couple meant 3 to 12 and one day was every day. So I have a brilliant idea on the way home. I think I'll stop into Les Hommes bookshop and see if I can pick up something real quick. Now, Les Hommes was not a Barnes and Noble kind of place. It was a gay porno store with buddy booths in the back. Buddy booth is such a quaint term for anonymous sex chamber. Well, it didn't take long. This tall blonde drink of water pulls me into his booth and he immediately starts devouring me. The guy is ravenous. And then he pulls back and he says, "Hey girl, do you smoke?" And I pull out my Marlboro Lights and I say, "Yeah, but can we smoke in here?" He says, "No girl, this." And he holds up a glass pipe with a little white rock in it. And I want to pull a Whitney Houston and say, crack is whack. But with all those drinks in me, I'm powerless to say no. And I inhale and the need to copulate is immediate and feral. And before I know it, we are at his filthy apartment around the corner. And as we're sitting on his mattress, alternately taking drags off of each other and drags off the pipe, all thoughts of having dinner with my boyfriend and the fact that I may not be able to get up for work in the morning, go up in smoke, so to speak. And then I look around his filthy apartment. There are piles of rotting Chinese food containers and piles of garbage and piles of unopened mail. And I have an epiphany. This guy's got a problem. Boom.
Thank you, Jamie. In New York City, I believe. You may not actually be there right now. I think you
I am.
reside. You're in New York. All right, Jamie's in New York. First storyteller of section 4, round 1. I should just remind people there's a lot of numbers. I said I'm not very good at numbers. Season 5, there's all sorts of numbers getting thrown around, Mary.
Yeah, but you've got it though. See?
I think I got the numbers down. Season 5, round 1. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Let me-
see?
Let me stop before I get a little bit whacked.
Hey, come on now. Don't
Crack
get
is
ahead of yourself. Crack is whack.
Crack is whack. Next up, we're actually staying in the state of New York. I think we're just going upstate. That's what they say. They say upstate to New York, upstate land. We're going to find Tina. We're going to spotlight her. Tina, take your time. Have some fun.
After my mother walks out on us when I'm 12, I would see her every other weekend. And on one of those weekends, my grandmother shows up. Now, my mother and my grandmother are both French, and that's all they spoke to each other. I don't speak any French. However, what they didn't know is that I understood everything they said. So on that day, they decide they're going to put me in my mother's wedding gown. Now, I'm 13, which is like a gruesome time for a young girl, but there I am in her wedding dress on a cocktail table in her sunken living room. And they're chain smoking their galois, and they're circling me like sharks. And my grandmother stops and says to my mother in French, it's a pity that Tina takes after the Irish and not the French, because she is so homely. She's never going to be a beautiful bride. I jump off the table, I run to my room, I rip off the gown, I throw myself on the bed, and I weep and make a promise that when I get married, I will not have my mother and my grandmother there. C'est fini.
Thank you, Tina. All right, so we got a little French going on there. We got some crack. You never know what you're going to get at the 99. You just don't know. All over the spectrum, so to speak, which was why I love it, because when the stories are this short, we can get a lot of stories and storytellers.
It's true. And the stories are just so good for 99 seconds. They,
So
you
good.
really feel like you're there. It's amazing. This group.
A lot of talent.
A lot
lot of talent. I think our final 2 storytellers are both in Chicago. Wait for it. Chicago, what?
Land.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna go to find Jeff Stein, and we're gonna spotlight Jeff, and he's gonna have some fun. Jeff, take it away, sir.
My best friend, my brother from another mother, has had a daughter. I go out to FEO Schwartz and I find the perfect teddy bear, and I rush over to see her, and she's beautiful. Over the years, I get to see her a lot. And then one day I call and I find out her father's died. And I think to myself, I'm 300 miles away. I don't have the funds. I don't think I can be like that teddy bear. I don't think I can be perfect for her. And I decide the best thing to do is to walk away. Decades later, I am Googling my friend's name just for no apparently good reason. And I see her. She's singing. And she's beautiful. So I find her on Facebook and I shoot her a note and I said, "You may not remember me. I'm your godfather. I gave you that teddy bear when you were a little kid. And if you don't want to talk to me, I totally understand." A few months later, I get a note. "I've missed you. All I want to know is more about my dad." And it has been perfect. Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Jeff Stein in Chicagoland. So we had Jamie in New York, Tina upstate New York, which has a name. She's not just in upstate New York. I think she's in Poughkeepsie.
Oh.
if anyone wants to do world capitals after, I'm game. If anyone wants to try to spell either Poughkeepsie or Schenectady later, bring it. Just bring it. That's all I'm saying. We had Jeff Stein in Chicagoland, and our final storyteller, I believe she's also in Chicago. Her name is Barbara. Let me find her and spotlight her. Barbara, take your time, have some fun, break a leg. You are muted. Hang on, you're muted. Take your time. You're good. Let me see if I can unmute you. Nope. I think you need to unmute yourself.
I always have trouble with that. Don't know why.
Now you're good.
I just assume everybody can always hear me, I guess. So, okay. It's December 31st, 2006, as I quietly leave a friend's New Year's Eve party an hour before midnight. It's only been 4 days since the death of my husband, Kent, from aggressive B-cell lymphoma, and there's no way I can toast in the first year of many that I'm going to live without him. But I don't leave alone. My newborn fear just shadows me every place I go, and I just grieve. Every morning I wake up thinking he's still alive until my grief reminds me that he's gone. On my way out, though, I passed Marty, someone that I was engaged to before I met Kent, and someone who verbally abused me for 6 years until I abruptly left him, something that he's never been able to accept or forgive. He's avoided me all evening because Marty is a survivor of Hodgkin's lymphoma, and Kent's death and my mournful presence just trigger his dormant fear that his own cancer may return and cut his life short too. So he's been hiding out in the garage, getting drunk on 7 and 7s when he looks at me and says, "Sorry about Kent, but don't you wonder why I'm still alive and he's not? Do you wish I was dead instead?" And I'm like, "No, Marty, I don't wonder why. And no, I don't want anybody to die from this fucking disease ever." And the spiteful questions really don't anger me because I'm down so low, bottom look like up, and there's nothing anyone can say to make me feel worse. But instead, I do find a brief, if pyrrhic, reprieve from grief in feeling much sadder for Marty's continuing fear and resentment. Boom.
Thank you, Barbara. No relation to James, same last name, different spelling, I think.
Spelling, totally different spelling.
One of them has got a Scandinavian spelling. We'll ask Gaurav about that. He's up in Scandinavia land. Yep, good news. Good news, Mary.
Good news?
Yeah, the good news is that Jamie, Tina, Jeff, and Barbara were all at or under time.
Yes.
Always makes me feel good. So you do what you do, and no one does it like you do. Hang on, hang on. Everyone's got to stay muted other than me and Queen Mary. They're excited. I get it.
I get it. I do too.
I get it. All right. So you do what you do. I'll do what I do, and we will launch this poll. Go ahead.
All right. A liaison at Liaison Bookstore that Jamie had helped him realize that maybe that tall drink of water had a problem. Tina decided after she heard her mother and grandmother speaking in French, thinking she didn't understand, that she wasn't going to have them at her wedding when they made her try on her wedding dress and commented, her mom's wedding dress. And Jeff had the key to link his goddaughter and her father together after he passed, and they lost touch. And Barbara had sympathy for someone with a similar disease that her husband passed for, but knew that he was worried and scared. And that helped to distract her a little bit.
All right. Just so everyone knows, you just heard the stories. You just heard Mary. I'm not great at doing these polls, so I'm going to do this as best I can, but I think I did it justice.
She did.
Hey, we do what we do. We try as best we can, right?
We do it well. Mm-hmm.
We're going to launch this poll, and hey, maybe we'll have another runoff. We could have up to, I think, 57 people vote. Jamie, Tina, Jeff, and Barbara. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. See, these are good keywords here, Sean.
So many good stories. So many good stories. We're going to have another really close one. It looks like another maybe tie. This is amazing. But we have 5 people, and we're going to let this one go a bit. I want everyone to vote.
Yes.
I mean, we can't make people vote. You might opt not to. If for whatever reason the poll didn't come through, send it to me. It's better than sending it to everyone. Send me the name, just one name. That's all you get. Okay. Let's give it another 10 seconds. I think we have a winner.
I
right?
think so. Yeah, I think so too.
We have a winner by a couple of votes. And so we're going to end this poll at 1 minute, which is now. And that means that we have 4 official poll winners. And in a few moments, or a couple of minutes, actually, we're going to announce them in addition to 2 more storytellers. In the meantime, here is an opportunity to relieve yourself if you haven't already, though you probably have. Get a drink, yell at your kids. No, don't yell at your kids.
No.
Don't yell at your kids. I don't have children, so I'm not good to talk about this stuff. So love your children. Go tell your kids how much you love them. Is that better? Or should I just shut up?
I think you've left it on the table now, Sean. So leave the table.
Now, Dotty and Mary, in that same messenger thread, would you send me one name each? And there's only 4 names you should not be sending me because those are the 4 winners. If you have any questions, let's communicate there. And you know what? I'm just looking at the chat, and I want to thank everybody for being here and for being active and for listening and for sending so much love to all the storytellers. A little bit of Dotty and Mary, in a moment, I'm going to give you an opportunity if you want to do a little plugging of stuff, but I'll just repeat to people, we do have a podcast called Grit, True Stories That Matter. I like it. I think it's pretty good. And most of our events are on Sunday evenings. So it's story stuff. If you like story stuff, you'll probably like it. If you don't want to do Zoom stuff, then I get it. So that's that. Mary or Dotty, do you have anything you want to share with our lovely audience here?
Dotty, do you have anything?
No, I'm just in awe of everyone. Everyone has done such a fabulous job tonight. It's amazing.
Beautiful. I just want to make sure everyone's clear. We have 4 poll winners, and Mary and Dotty, I got your 2 names. Those are your final answers. Give me a thumbs up. All right. Very, very nice. It was extraordinarily close.
All right.
Obviously, when you have runoffs, it's close.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure if I were to ask Dotty or Mary, they could have probably put any number of tellers through with confidence and feel like they were doing them justice.
Absolutely. It was tough tonight. If you saw me, I was flipping through the summaries. I couldn't get my head around it at first. So they were so good. So good.
Now, unlike last time, the names won't get called out in advance. So I'll say the 6 names, and then I will pick one each time. That storyteller will tell their story after the 6. If nobody's over time, and these will be a new stories, we will run the poll, and then we will have a winner. And again, if there's a tie, 2 or 3-way tie, whatever, we'll have a runoff. And if then there's a tie, we'll have co-champions.
Co-champions.
If you are not in the United States and you win, I am not doing any money converting for you. You do win a cash prize. I don't know what to tell you. I hope your currency is strong. Leave me alone if it's not. Fair?
I think it's a good way to put it out there, Sean.
Just leave me alone, but I'm nicely saying it.
Yes. With love.
By the way, one other change is we're going to go from yellow to pink here in the the 82nd. I'm going to just mix these names up. And this is not necessarily the order they're going in. I'm just letting everyone know the 6 names, and they are in no particular order. Gaurav, Tina.
You have them backwards.
I know.
Okay.
I thought I knew. Yeah. You can't read that? You can't go through? You can't see?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, fine. Gaurav, Tina, Jeff, Jamie, Rana, Carolyn.
There we go. Ta-da.
Those are your 6 second rounders. I can't say for sure that it's the best we've ever had, but it's pretty damn close if it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty damn close if it's not. Super competitive. Super competitive.
I can't wait to hear these second stories.
Yeah. And the challenge for them, by the way, is, and this is any storyteller will tell you this, any sort of competition, like this, which story do you do first? The story you think is the strongest because you need to get into the second round. Maybe just have two really good stories.
Yeah, that's possible too with this group.
I'm going to mix these names up. I'm going to announce the first names in about 15, 20 seconds. So if you hear my voice, come back to wherever you are to watch and listen. I do ask that only vote if you hear all 6 stories. So come back.
Yeah.
I'm mixing it up.
All right.
Thank you, Dotty, again, and Queen Mary again for your help. Thank you for everyone who's here. We have 59 in total, which is fantastic.
Amazing.
And our storytellers who are getting ready. Here we go, storytellers. Our first second rounder of the 99-second Grand Slam season number 5 is going to be Tina. Tina, when you are ready, do not rush. I want everyone to be back for you and your second story, and you will and break a leg.
Years after that disastrous wedding dress story, I'm visiting my mother again, and she comes up with this great idea that we should go on a double date. Now, this is something that I wouldn't recommend, but there I am in a restaurant with my mother, her gynecologist, and her tax guy. And of course, the tax guy is my date. And when we get home, she says, Tina, you can't go on a date and, hog the conversation and then laugh at your crummy jokes with that snorting laugh of yours. You have to remember that men never marry smart, funny women, but they do. Because when I'm 35, I'm standing at the altar of St. Paul's Cathedral in London in a wedding dress that is not my mother's. And there's, just a couple of our friends from, both sides of the pond. And of course, my mother and my grandmother are not there. And I marry my best friend. And je suis intelligente, je suis drôle, je suis Irish, je suis très, très belle. Le boom.
All right, thank you, Tina.
That was a winner.
That was
Throwing in a little French again.
Impressive.
What's that?
I said impressive.
All these are impressive. Everybody's impressive. These are people who have qualified for the Grand Slam, all 16 tellers, and now they qualified for the second round. We're just keeping these aren't chumps, I'll tell you that.
Oh no, they sure aren't.
Let's keep it moving. I'll remind you that afterwards we'll announce the winner. And I'm not going to belly dance this time.
No?
After we announce the winner. I'm not doing that again. That didn't work out so well last time.
Oh.
But we are going to congratulate them. And then we just have a sort of loose salon, if you will, little post-event chat. So I encourage you to come. That would be fun. All good either way. I know some people got to get back to their lives. I'm going to keep mixing these names up. And so Tina up in New York was the first one. The next one is going to be Mr. Jeff Stein. And again, y'all, whatever you got to do at home, write notes, jot it down so you can vote for your favorite in a little bit. Jeff, take it away.
It's my second semester of freshman year at college. And I decide I'm going to take this culture and square dancing class because I figured girls, right? And I figured this is an opportunity that I can meet girls and I can get the credit that I need. Only thing is, none of the girls really want to dance with me. And I'm horrible at every dance. I'm absolutely pathetic. My left feet are worse than my own left feet. All I know is I just wish there was just one dance I could do and prove to everybody that it's something I know. And all of a sudden, the teacher puts on the hora. Now, for those of you who don't know, the hora is a traditional Jewish dance. I've been doing it since I was 5. I did it at my bar mitzvah, and all I can think of myself is, yes, finally, something that I can do. And I start to show people how to do it. And the teacher looks at me and says, "What are you doing? You're doing it wrong." I said, and I look at her, and she's like, "You're supposed to kick and kick like a chorus line or something." I felt like singing One Singular Sensation, and I keep trying to do it the right way. And everybody's looking at me, and everybody keeps saying, "You're doing it wrong." And finally, I just kind of gave up. And I sat there. And I did the dance that I've done of my people. And since I was 5 years old. And I did it wrong. Because everybody told me I was wrong. And that it wasn't right. And I walked out of there. And I wondered, what am I doing? Will I ever get anything right? Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Jeff Stein. We went from Poughkeepsie to the Chicago suburbs. We have got 4 more storytellers. And then again, if everyone's at or under time, you will get 1 more vote. Voting's fun, isn't it?
So fun.
Usually there's 4 or 5 votes, but because of the runoffs, we have upwards of 7 or 8 votes tonight. People like to vote.
I know. That's good.
Unless it's a presidential election, they don't like to vote that much.
No, it's weird. But
for the slam, they do.
It's fun.
It doesn't always carry over into politics.
No, because this is fun.
Correct. I thank you. It is. And you and Dotty and our tellers and our audience are making it fun.
Exactly.
We're helping create fun. I think I've milked the fun bit just enough.
You think so? Yeah. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Do you want a little more?
We're mixing the names up. The tellers are anxiously waiting. There are 4 more. Here we go. Next up, Jamie Brickhouse, New York. Jamie is unmuted. I will spotlight you. Take your time. Have some fun.
So when I come to in a Manhattan emergency room to the news that my Texas tornado of a mother, Mama Jean, is on a plane from Texas, I panic. You see, I had taken an overdose of sleeping pills, my alcoholic bottom, and I can imagine how she's going to greet me. She'd point a perfectly sculpted red fingernail and yell, "God damn it! I knew you'd end up like this. I just knew it." I was terrified of facing her and her all-consuming love that I could never seem to escape, because if I faced her, I'd have to face myself, and I would no longer be able to sweep my drinking under the rug anymore. So I spent a week in detox, and when I got back to my apartment, she was there waiting. And I was wrong when I lay in fear of her reaction. She didn't yell, "God damn it." She just stood there, looking more terrified than I felt. And then she grabbed me and hugged me for dear life. "Oh, I'm just so happy to see you alive. God, I love you so much." But she started to regain her dexterity when a psychiatrist friend came over and tried to clinically and gingerly explain the next steps for treating my alcoholism. "Cut to the chase, doctor. Are we going to have to lock him up?" The answer was yes. She pulled out her checkbook, and then she pointed a perfectly sculpted red fingernail at me. "Your drinking days are over. And by the way, suicide is a mortal sin, so it's a damn good thing you didn't succeed. Otherwise, you couldn't spend an eternity in heaven with me." Boom.
Thank you, Jamie. All right, so we've got 3 down and 3 to go in round number 2. Y'all, you're going to vote in probably 5-7 minutes, whatever it works out to be. So listen to these stories, absorb them, enjoy them. But again, you can only vote for one. You're going to have to pick your very favorite. And I know for most of you, it is probably going to be a tough choice. I get it. But one could argue, Mary, Dotty, that life is full of tough choices. Am I right?
It's true. Life is full of tough choices. And especially when you have these amazing storytellers, that make it even harder.
Do you have a life lesson you want to? No, we'll wait for our life lessons and pontifications for afterwards. Let's mix up the names and we'll have our next fourth storyteller. Here we go. This is so much fun. So appreciative of you all. We're going to find Carolyn in Mexico. There she is. Carolyn, you're going to have to unmute and take your time.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
You're good.
My mother raised me in the 50s to be nice. Nice. She didn't teach me to say what I wanted. Always, she told me, put other people first, don't be selfish. Now it's the 70s and I'm married. We're driving, or rather my husband is driving, along the Mississippi River because it's October and we want to look at the fall colors. We're not talking much. He's kind of the silent type. We're just looking at the trees. I'm feeling kind of bored and I'm remembering that there's a Dairy Queen near here and I want an ice cream cone. Now, what I would like to do would be to say to my husband, let's stop at the Dairy Queen. I want an ice cream cone. What I say to him is, honey, would you like an ice cream cone? Suddenly, the Dairy Queen is in front of us and I see, as we're driving up to it, a little girl outside the Dairy Queen eating an ice cream cone, and I'm thinking chocolate, double scoop. But I'm also hearing my husband say no as he drives by the Dairy Queen. I can't believe it. This wasn't supposed to happen. I look at the little girl. She's happy and laughing and eating a chocolate ice cream cone. And I turn to keep her in view. And I watch her get smaller and smaller and smaller. And now she's gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. All right. 4 of 6. Carolyn lives down in Mexico. I think she's also from the Midwest originally, for what it's worth. And 2 more. Then we're going to vote. And I did say about 90-minute event, and I'm pretty close.
Pretty close.
Doing the best I can to honor that. We got 2 more. Not a lot of mixing here. Mary, say stop.
Stop.
There it is. Storyteller number 5 is Rana Levy. Where's Rana? There she is. Spotlight for you, Rana. Unmute. Take your time.
I'm unmuted, right?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. All right. You can hear me?
Yep, you're good. We
Okay.
can hear you.
All right, because
Yep.
I there was a thing that popped up. Okay, fine, forget it. Okay. I'm 21, living in New York City, and I'm waitressing, and it's the end of a dinner shift, and I'm sitting at the bar having my staff drink, and I'm wondering who will come to my funeral. See, I have this fantasy that I take a kitchen knife and I stab myself, and the staff finds me in the back booth, and they're all so surprised. But this is how I feel a lot of the time. I mean, at 16, I poked my thighs with knitting needles until I bled. I've hated myself. I've hated my life. I just felt so insignificant. I just wanted to be somebody else. And these thoughts, they follow me into my 30s and my 40s. And at 40, I'm living in Los Angeles. And I start thinking, in 10 years, I'll be 50, the same age my mother was when she died. But in 10 more, if I live more than 10 years, I'll outlive my mother. But like, why? I'm thinking, why? I just suck at life. So I'm waitressing again, and it's the end of the shift, but there's no bar this time. So I just go to my car, and I'm at my door, and this car passes me, and it stops short and it backs up. And I'm like, oh God, I know this is not good. And I know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden this guy, he jumps out of the car. He's got white high tops and plaid shorts. And he's got a gun at his hip, and he points it at me and he says, give me your purse. I hear the words, I don't see a face, I don't see legs, I don't see arms, just plaid and a gun. And I throw my purse and I run. I mean, he had a gun, he could shoot me, I could have died. I mean, sometimes I want to die, sometimes I don't want to live, but really, I don't want to die.
Thank you, Rana Levy. Wow, so we have had 22 stories, if my math is correct, 21 competitive, 22 including Miss Vandy up in Chicago, who I don't think is moved since we started. She's in the same exact position as 90 minutes ago. It's incredible. It's like a statue, one of those statues you see in Chicagoland.
Chicagoland.
Our final storyteller of this evening is across the pond, way across the pond in Norway. His name is Gaurav. Gaurav, close it out. I'm going to spotlight you, unmute yourself. Take your time.
I'm in the middle of this dirt road close to midnight in spring of North India. At the end of this road stands a fort in ruins under a curse. The most storied ruin of the world. The Vanguard Fort. Entrance to this fort is forbidden after sunset by law. And it is said, whoever has dared to enter after sunset or before sunrise has never returned, dead or alive. So I decided to see it for myself. I bribe the guards and find my way in and begin walking deep in the ruins. The fort is standing tall in all its might behind the steel bars, the dense hanging roots all across the walkway, the huge gate, the broken walls. Everything is just like a jaw-dropping nightmare. All the stories that I had read before coming to this place are flashing in my head like a movie looped in fast forward. In a panic, disoriented, dizzy, I crash on the ground and prepare myself to die like all the people in those stories. Slowly, a white light descends and shines in my eyes. There you are! These are the guards with their flashlights. I'm not going to die. Not tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gaurav. Oh, wow. All right. Okay. Here we go. We had 6 finalists. Mary, one of them went over, not eligible. Carolyn, I'm sorry. You were over a little bit too much. Got to keep it fair. We had a few people go over, and I know that's discouraging or upsetting because they worked very hard on their stories, but 99's 99, right? Okay, so we're going to have 5 people that our lovely audience can vote on, and then we will have a winner, but chances are we'll have a runoff. Here we go. Whenever you're ready, Mary.
All right. So Tina's mother thought she could give her dating advice, but Tina knew that she would find her best friend to marry because she's a smart, funny lady, and she did over the pond. Jeff was told by people he was doing the dance of his people wrong, and he was wondering if he could ever get anything right. Jamie, well, a visit to the Manhattan hospital room brought Mama Jean from Texas, and she made sure that he would spend everlasting life with her in heaven with red fingernails. Ronna decided that when she had these thoughts of back and forth, am I here, am I not here, am I living or am I dying, a brush with an actual robbery and someone pointing a gun at her made her realize she didn't want to leave. And Gaurav thought he was going to go into the ruins and die like many other people have been told was going to happen, these stories, but these guards found him and saved his life.
All right, I think between those stories, your summary, and
yes,
a couple of words I put after of our 5 finalists, we in a moment are going to have a winner. Do we have any? You know what? Let's just vote. Everyone wants to vote. We have 55 people, I believe, who can vote. I hope you all do.
Please.
Of course, let me know if for whatever reason you don't see the poll. Tina, Jeff, Jamie, Rana, and Gaurav, and thanks again, everybody, for being here. Here we go.
I'll tell you, when you see them like flipping, first place flips back and forth, it's
really
and
interesting. Yeah.
it's really interesting. Yeah. Sorry,
We-
guys, I know you can't see this, but it's seeing you vote is like an adventure.
It really is. It's really close. So 6 people haven't voted. It can make a difference. We'll go to 1 minute. So it's another like 30 seconds or so. And then we'll announce a winner.
All right.
Then I will invite everybody, if they want to hang out, to hang out. And if they don't, I understand. And you go back to your lives, and I thank you very much. Very, very close, y'all. Very, very close.
We need you to vote.
We can't make them vote, Mary.
I know, but I can guilt them into it, maybe, right? No?
Can you? Can you have any guilt left? Gefilte guilt?
Gefilte guilt? Come on, guys. I have to deal with Sean afterwards if you don't vote.
It can make a difference.
I can.
Let's milk this for another 10 or 15 seconds. It's really close, y'all.
Yes.
But after 90 seconds, which is coming up now, then it's done.
Yeah.
It's gotta end.
I agree with you. I think it's clear.
All right, let us close our final poll of season number 5. And Dotty, you saw the winner, yes? Because Dotty, in just a moment, if you're okay with it, we're going to have you, our lovely guest judge from the Boston suburbs, announce the winner, but not just yet. Mary, do we have anything else we must announce before we announce our winner?
Thank you all for being here. Let's get to the good stuff.
Let's do it. Dotty OMG O'Donnell up in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Who's our winner?
Oh my God, it's Jamie.
Woo! Jamie effing Brickhouse. Jamie, I'm spotlighting you. Give us some of Jamie.
Thank you. It was
Here we
tough
go.
competition. God damn it. Y'all picked the right one.
All right, here we go. Great job, Jamie. Thank job to our other 15 tellers.
And congrats to all the tellers. You were all really fantastic.
Great job.